Hey YouTube world, what's up? I know I've been MIA, missing in action lately, but gotta work, you gotta work. Anyways, though, I wanted to talk about two things lately that have been come up in athletics, track and field. And two main points I just want to clarify, and I'm going to try to put them in a positive way because it is some negativity though. And I do have some older videos on here that are I was in a passionate emotional moment and can be negative, but I leave them up there for a reason when it just shows where I have come and I can see where I am now, try to show what my journey or progress has been. Athletes' rights and clean sport. I believe in those two things though. And those two things have been come up lately a lot in track and field, especially recently, though, talking about Nick Symmonds and lately with reports of so many athletes now, of reports of doping, from previous World Championships to really past Olympics. So now Nick Symmonds, though, great guy, awesome, nice guy, gentleman. I met at the American Track Classic in Atlanta in Emory last week, though. He's had gear sponsorship dispute. And look, I'm not going to go full into detail on it. I'm just going to say, when an organization understands what an athlete, has to go through, the kind of training and commitment that they put into it, they use so much of their time into the sport because they want to be the best that they could be, though. And let's be honest, so out of all, I guess you could say, the professional athletes, like track runners, we probably make the least amount of money, though. And some of us are fine with that, and some of us want, well, come on, we do a little bit more. I mean, look at football, basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey. I mean, all other professional sports athletes, they make way more money, though. Now, that doesn't mean that runners or people who are field events and stuff don't work hard, or they don't have as much of as many of these annual big events that constantly come up. And yes, the Olympics, World Championships, it's not like every year. And also it's just marketing in the U.S., though, when they don't show it as much, when the U.S., some of the U.S. athletes don't perform as well, they don't win their events, people here are not going to care, the sponsorships, and it just, they're not going to put it out there as much, and, it's just that the revenue is not going to really come in, though. And yeah, it's a whole algorithm, and it can be very confusing. But what really messed it up is, though, between USA Track and Field and with Nick Symmonds, they couldn't come to a certain mutual agreement to let him run, and he's going to miss the World Championships in Beijing. That's going to be going on next couple weeks. So. And he earned his spot. He was at U.S. Outdoors, and he earned a spot to be on the team. But because of some guidelines that USA Track and Field put down that impeach with his guidelines, because of his sponsorship, there was a problem, and you know how that goes. Come on, it's like. Hold on, I'm having coffee. If USA Track and Field, some of the most successful people or well-known people do bend certain rules to get to where they got to be. Not everything has to be abided by the book. And come on, it's just, why does USA Track and Field have to do that? And then they had the authority. I mean, yeah, they do have the authority. But yeah, to just kick him off the team like that, and I mean, yeah, I guess I have no sympathy for that crap, but Like, whatever, it's a messed up situation, though, and I just hope, because of this, though, throughout events later, of course going into the Olympics and other world championships, outdoor, indoor, any big meets that come up later in the future, need to have some kind of mutual agreement, contract. Yeah, everything is contract, and of course money talks. And I'm just really saddened and then just mad at the same time because that this had to happen, though. Because it shouldn't, though. It's a sport. Give everybody a chance. And if they earn it, let them run. But hopefully situations like that in the future get fixed. And Nick, you are a class act, though, when I met you at Emory last week. Because if you ever come into this video, that is one thing I want you to know. You are an awesome guy and big inspiration to all youth runners, especially like middle school, high school, and younger people that love the sport and want to continue growing with the sport. You're one of those pioneers right now that is trying to make a difference, and a difference in a good way. So keep fighting the good fight. Okay, now moving on to doping. It's been on for a while. Now reports are coming out that in 1988, runners like Florence Griffith Joyner, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, and other names of athletes pretty much were doped. They were juicing. And it was a big cover-up kind of thing. Does it surprise me? Well, no. Because, like I've kind of mentioned before, some athletes that do want to get ahead in a way do eventually bend the rules. But, like, if you're an athlete that you work hard also, but you follow the rules and you do everything right, and you don't get your recognition for it when you go out and compete, what the hell, And I do think, in a way, it's a big deal with people when athletes dope, because who are their biggest fans, their followers, people that get inspired the most? Youth, kids, elementary, middle, high school, young people. If some of these athletes, they got their social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever they're posting on YouTube, Tumblr, whatever the case may be, what they use in social media. Of course, it's always going to be positive things, inspiration things, go out, give your best shot, but that's one thing, though. That's what you're putting out there in the world, but, like, is that what really is what you're doing, Instead of, let's say, putting a substance, like some chemical substance in your body, that is not natural, or, and it inhibits your body's recovery, meaning it speeds it up, though, so you can train more, be more efficient in your training, and have that capacity to perform better, so you could win a big race, and win the big race, you get the big recognition, but then when the interviews and stuff come, he's like, oh yeah, it's hard work, dedication, yada yada yada, but they're not going to say the thing that got them to there in the first place, which is the drugs, and I'm sorry to say, but I don't have any sympathy for those that cheat. If you're not competing and you do drugs, fine, go ahead. Who gives a shit? But those that do, that's the thing, though. You put a bad message to the youth, because the kids and stuff, they're gonna look up to you. They're like, yeah, I need to work on I need to do this, I need to do that. And you find out that later on, some of your best athletes in the world were doping all along. You're like, what the fuck? For example, Florence Griffith Joyner. Yeah, she's been gone for a while, and it was sad she passed away, but during her prime and stuff, like her world record in the 100 meters, it just no other woman has gotten close to that, though, you know? And she's, during her time when she was alive, you know, she said she wasn't doping or anything. I mean, she was lying, you know? She didn't want her image to get ruined. She was lying, and the only chick that I saw that got close to that, I've gotten very close to that, but look what happened to her 10 years ago. Marion Jones, you know? Just... And then Jackie Joyner-Kersee, like, I remember her in the late 90s, where she was briefly in a couple of infomercials with Chuck Norris and Kristen Brinkley, you know, advocating, you know, the total gym. You know, yeah, my parents bought one, though, but we never use it now. You know, like, oh, it's an aid for my training, helps me, so when I want to compete, yeah. Yeah, you also forgot to mention part that you were probably taking some other stuff too that you're not going to mention. It's just, if you're an athlete at the highest level, professional, and you're going to compete, and then people are going to ask, what do? You know, what kind of, like, because the human not the human body, well, yeah, but that too, but the human brain, we are so curious. You know, we see something, we see someone do some amazing athletic performance, like, whoa, you know, that's crazy, what did they do? And of course they're going to say they train hard, they make so many sacrifices, and they put all the hard work, dedication to it. Is that everything? Like, really? Is that everything that you do? Is there one little piece of information or little thing that you're doing that you're not going to tell anybody that could probably make a difference between first place and second place? You know, that 1 degree. Water boils at 212 degrees, whereas it doesn't at 211 degrees, though. And, like, yeah, that one little thing. Small things fucking matter, you know. Also, think about, like, racing. Regardless of racing as, you know, with horses, yourself, race car, the difference between first and second, the margin is so short, but the rewards are enormous because of that 1 degree. So, are you telling everybody that you're doing everything that you say that you're doing, but you're only at 211 degrees, when really what you are doing is 212 degrees? Come on, you know? It just, I'm a type of guy, I'm like, man, if you're an athlete and you're competing at the best in the world in your sport, and you say everything you're doing, but if I'm noticing that, like, okay, if you're dominating and nobody is even coming close to you, then it's just going to be something a little fishy. And yes, I am going to be like curious. I'm like, are they doping kind of thing? And it's unfortunate that I have to have that mentality now, because over the years, lately, anybody that sees an athletic performance is going to say, no, drugs. Which probably is true in some case, though. And there's some names on that report that Victor Conti, a guy I think that was with Balco, claims that, yeah, a lot of athletes, not only in athletics and track and field, but other sports as well, especially like baseball, which, I'm sorry, I mean, I don't watch that sport anymore. There's so many athletes, it's ridiculous that people want to like cheat just to get better. And like I said, it's that little thing that will make a difference. As I briefly said, 1 degree, you know, 1211 water is warm, hot. 211, and then 212 water is boiling. It's that 1 degree, the one difference. And that 1 degree and what little difference that people do, they're not gonna tell anybody, or at least the media, what's out there. They want to cover it up, keep their image clean, not tarnished. that's what's fucked up, because those that do the right thing, follow the rules, they're not gonna get credit for anything or recognition. If everyone actually did the same thing and didn't cheat, then we'll know who's the best athletes in the world. But now if everyone did cheat and we found out, then yeah, okay in a way that we know who's the best athlete in the world. But I still think that your athletic performance and what you do in sport should be based on your body's capability and nothing more. Anything that you put in your body that your body doesn't produce naturally, without taking some kind of drug into it, it's just any add-ons. I don't agree with that. That's just me. So gotta get that shit fixed, and I know it's been years and years and years and years, fucking more years and years, and still, we gotta do something. Anyways, I'm out. Peace.